Sweetheart, we've got to do something else. This podcast business just does not pay the bills, what with all of the $0 on it that we've ever made.
I hear ya. I'm pretty sure it's all that damned Paul Scheer's fault.
Well, either way, I gotta get a real job.
Here's one. If you like pina coladas, getting caught in the...
Nope. How about this one? Come live an exciting life while working for the agency. We are currently hiring for one operative. Tasks include crisis aversion, hostile negotiations, shipping inspections, acting, and delivery of materials. Travel required, especially to exotic destinations. Compensation is competitive. Wow, this sounds like a sweet gig.
I don't know if you're qualified.
Well, here's the qualifications. Job requirements. Blonde hair, check. Must be for photos or something. Shapely figure that's ready for action. I told you saving my He-Mans would pay off. Large chest. I've got that big antique Hope chest that'll work. Kind of weird that they'd need that. At least 2 big guns. Okay, so my arms aren't big, but with a little effort I could get there.
I don't think you understand what they're talking about.
No time to talk, honey! I'm off to apply in person!
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Andy. I can't wait to hear from you.
You're quite welcome, Miss Bumperton. You're on my short list. Next.
Thank you so much for the interview. I am really excited about working for the agency. What is it you guys do here anyways?
Well, I'm afraid that information is only available to active working agency employees.
Well, that's no problem. I'm sure you're going to hire me. When can I start?
Well, I've got some problems. Did you ever read our job requirements? Agent Donna, can you come in here for a moment? Take a look at this agent for a moment, sir. What do you see?
I see a woman with blonde hair, a huge rack, holding an M4 and an AK-47. Oh.
Well, how'd the job go? Did you get it?
Well, it didn't go so good. But now I finally have an excuse to get that boob job I've always wanted. Hello and welcome to Stinker Madness. This is the podcast where 3 people watch a shitload of bad movies and then try to find good ones out of it. I've got Sam and I've got Jackie here. How are you guys?
Burning down the house.
Burning down the house? Damn, really? That's high praise.
I have matches.
Yeah, let's burn this motherfucker down. I want the insurance money. Sam, how are you?
I'm good. I actually don't have any matches. I haven't had a pack of matches for a while since I've been living in my car.
That's riveting. Let's move on. We got some heavy stuff tonight. The movie this week will be Hard Ticket to Hawaii, the first appearance of the agency in the Andy Sidaris collection, our second Andy Sidaris movie following Malibu Express.
I don't know that it's actually the first appearance. I think it is alluded to in the subsequent films that the character of Sybil Danning was originally working for the agency.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm pretty excited about Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I love all the Andy Sidaris films. They're classic stinkers, top of many lists, including a lot of praise for Hard Ticket to Hawaii over Malibu Express by a lot of the fans.
I'm a big fan of Hard Ticket. I like them all, but I'm a big fan of Hard Ticket.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yes, you have, actually. You have seen 5 Andy Sidaris movies, second being Hard Ticket to Hawaii. This is one of the first times we've all seen this film.
Is this the one with the boob watch ladies in the helicopter?
They're all boob watch ladies in helicopters.
Then I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
This was the one
sure.
They actually have a Cessna most of the time in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, I think okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll just
I'm
say
in. I know.
One spoiler alert, skateboard. That should be enough to tip anybody off. Anyways, moving on. I do want to say that Sam did a wonderful job interviewing Arlene Sidaris, the producer of Hard Ticket to Hawaii. That interview will follow up this episode, so make sure you stick around after Sam's boring bullshit to listen to that. Streaming do's and don'ts for this week. One by myself to start. It's the best of the best 3. kick fighting guys.
You were
Kick
alone long
fighting
enough
guys.
to watch a movie by yourself.
I was. I don't
How
know what
many
happened
how many
last week.
times did you pause it and just like go masturbate?
Like
Not to
17
best
times.
of the best, but just be like,
Just in general.
you know what? I'm here by myself and the dogs are sleeping.
Usually during a movie, it's like 17 times. So 16 times it says that Best of the Best 3 held my attention quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I really, really, really loved Best of the Best 3. I want to tell you guys some things about Best of the Best 3.
Okay, I've seen it, but
It is not about kickboxing tournaments.
it's not about anything.
It's not necessarily about fighting crime. It's your classic tale. It's essentially Rambo First Blood. A guy comes walking into town and he's no good, and the locals are hassling him, and you got to get out of here because you're Chinaman, and they're rednecks, and it turns out they're all part of the Klan, and white power all over the place, and they're kidnapping black guys and murdering them and burning down churches and the whole burning cross in people's front yards. It's time for these guys to get a butt whipping. And boy, howdy, it delivers. I really, really liked this film. Completely. It is my favorite Best of the Best movie so far.
Well, I like 1 a lot because it's sort of straight-laced and it's tournament fighting. I do not like 2 a whole lot, and I think 4 is kind of a marathon of nonsense.
Yeah.
So I will take 3 above 2 and 4 any day of the week.
I liked 3 so much that in my forthcoming novel that I am planning on writing, entitled First Job Out, that's
Okay.
Sam's title that he gifted me, I have changed the bad guys from Arabian terrorists
Aw?
to white supremacists
Oh, that's a good
because of Best of the Best. I have said this before, I love white supremacists, whether they're KKK members or
call.
not,
You love white supremacists.
getting their asses
Oh,
kicked.
okay, yeah, that's better.
I love that shit. I can't get enough of it. If all movies were white supremacist douchebags getting their asses kicked, I would go every time. Like, the Fast and Furious franchise should just jump cars over white supremacist dickheads yelling white power and then toss some grenades out and they explode. And I would love it.
At the very beginning, it's almost like not even part of the exposition or diegetic. It's just like some white supremacists doing the punch kick dancing circle at a shitty heavy metal concert that's in the back of a crap bar.
Yeah.
And then they just drive through that bar with a semi truck and kill all of them.
Ooh, the semi
And
truck's
that's
a nice touch.
it's just for the credits. Like, this is what we do when we're getting ready to kick ass in the movie. We drive over white supremacists in their own trucks.
Yeah. Well, I like the sound of that. No, it's actually borderline a decent film, believe it or not. There were some subplots going on in this film that I really liked. There's a son that has joined the white supremacist group because he wants to fit in town, and a mother breaks down screaming, "It's going to get you killed!" And because she knows that where the shit's headed.
She's seen American History X.
Yeah. No, this shit's rad. I really loved Best of the Best 3. That's currently on Netflix right now. You can watch it at your leisure. Next up is Gunman, starring Christopher Lambert and Mario Van Peebles.
Mario Van Lambert and Christopher Van No Thanks.
This shit sucked.
Oh, boy.
Jackie watched this one.
Pass. Just pass. We don't even need to talk about it. Just don't watch it.
She might be right. This movie may be so crappy that we can't even discuss it because it just do not do this film.
It's really forgettable, unfortunately, because you want to remember how bad it sucks so that you don't watch it again. Because I saw it before, and I was like, you should give this another chance. I was like, oh, fuck, I should have remembered that I didn't want to watch this again.
It's muy terrible.
Christopher
Lambert would say.
He's as shitty as he ever was in anything, though.
He's awful.
If there's any reason to watch it, it's to watch him at his absolute worst.
I still don't think that that's enough.
Trying to be a buddy criminal movie.
Yeah, it's a buddy cop film for sure.
No, they're not cops. They're buddy criminal
The genre
movies.
is buddy cop.
Well, Van Peebles is a CIA, or he's just something?
I think he's just a guy. A guy that likes treasure.
He's a freelancer.
All of this shit sounds awesome. Buddy cop, Mario Van Peebles, treasure, Christopher Lambert. It's not. This is failing
It had the formula.
It's all there on paper. Ugh.
Like they handed him the stamp and they were like, "Let's cut some of the edges off this stamp." No, just punch it down. Just punch it down. You got it fine. Nope, no, they tried to fix it.
Yeah, it's
Ugh.
I wonder if that shit with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hine is worse than Gunman. Almost Scared.
Running Scared.
Which
Having seen both of them many years ago, I remember that Running Scared is so terrible that it's worth watching. Whereas I couldn't remember this one and really wish I could have remembered it so that I didn't watch it again.
Yeah, no, it's stunk on ice. I think that's 3 do nots from us on Gunman.
Correct.
Yes.
Excellent. Last but not least, another movie Sam did not have time to watch, but Jackie and I tore this up. You may have seen this before. It's a pretty popular film. Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
I don't think I've seen this.
Starring Steve Buscemi, Julianne Moore, Christian Slater, James Remar.
Have not seen it.
Who else was in that shit? Somebody else was in it.
It was a star-studded cast. I really liked this.
Chock full.
Were Mario Van Peebles and Christopher Lambert in
They
it?
did
No.
not make an appearance.
No, that's probably a
Good call. You put those
Good call.
two on screen together, you got a stinger.
No, they just squeeze up all the screen time and take it for themselves, shoot each other in the legs.
Oh, and
jerk
they
around.
had like one of Joey Lawrence's brothers
Oh, yeah. Joey
Matt's
Lawrence's brother. Yeah, Matt Lawrence.
as the little
Oh,
kid.
and Debbie Harry also.
Yeah,
From
boy.
Blondie fame.
yeah. I liked this a lot. I like
Congratulations.
congratulations movies.
Conflagration?
Conflagration.
Constabulatory.
Constantinople movies.
Constantinople movies. Anthology pictures?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Short films packaged as a
As a
feature?
movie, yeah. I liked it. I thought it was creative. They were stories that I hadn't heard before. Oh, the dad from Dexter. He was in
I
there.
said James Remar, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, James Remar.
I don't know their real names. I just have to go with character names.
I think of all of the segments, I really enjoyed the James Remar segment the most. Oh, it's the sister from Commando as well is in that segment. She's the wife of James Remar, or is she?
Radon Chong?
Yeah, Radon Chong.
Yeah, Tommy Chong's daughter.
Yeah, nice pulling that out of the air.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a definite do. Check it out.
Yeah, I liked it. I like most anthology compilation films, especially these versions of them, the horror type ones.
Heavily produced.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah, this is a good one. Do it. It's on Netflix right now. There's your streaming do's and don'ts. Sam, it's your turn for Good Neighbor, Bad Neighbor this week.
This week, doing Hard Ticket to Hawaii, we're going to take characters from the previous Andy Sidaris film that we watched on the podcast many episodes ago, Malibu Express. And we're
Okay.
going to decide whether or not they would be good neighbors or
Smell a little Coby Abilene coming.
bad neighbors. Well, number one, Coby Abilene.
Darby Hinton.
Good neighbor.
Just because you like his butt.
I would have a set of binoculars out on my boat aimed right at that boat. Like, oh my
that's
God.
the thing. If you're Coby Abilene's neighbor,
You get to live on a
you're
boat.
living next to. Oh, and you've got a huge set of cans, and your shower's always broke though.
Maybe.
So your life improves because you get to be a playmate, and you just get to live on a yacht and go over and drink Cody's coffee whenever you want and borrow his shower. Until those gun guys show up, though, that's a
But
problem.
it's sort of a minor nuisance. They don't really hurt anybody. Just you gotta know
a little scare. Little scare.
that it is frightening, but at one point he'll tell you what pisses him off and what doesn't piss him off, and you know where you stand.
Yeah, good neighbor. He's so hot.
Here's the problem with
He knows
Cody.
karate.
Yeah, dude.
Here's the problem with Coby Abilene. If you're hanging out with Coby Abilene all the time, because that's what's going to, if you're neighbors with Coby Abilene, you're going to hang out with him all the time.
Would he do the splits over my face? Because that's all I care about.
That's really gross.
Yeah. Let's move on from that. So if
Crotch
you're
sweats.
neighbors with Coby Abilene and you're hanging out with Coby Abilene all the time, whether male or female, there is a chance that you will cease to become neighbors with Coby Abilene because that yacht club bastard doesn't like the Coby Abilene business. He wants none of that Malibu Express. And if
yes.
you're associated with the Malibu Express, there's a potential that you may also get kicked out of the yacht club.
No, because Cody's daddy helped found that yacht club.
Oh, so just by association,
by
you're
association, all you got to do
you're
is mention
grandfathered in?
Daddy Abilene told me about this, and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna come back here when he's done racing his other
What about
yacht."
the Buffingtons? Do you have to deal with the Buffingtons at all?
Which is just what you want.
All right.
No, because they're
Deal with
not.
the
They're
Buffingtons.
not.
They don't live there. They're
yeah, they
just
don't live
different.
there.
Yeah, but Cody by association. No, I'm gonna go good neighbor as well. Unless you're married to Jackie, then he's the worst neighbor ever. Because he's gonna
Now-
teabag my wife.
I think he's a good.
Just once.
He's a good neighbor. Even though if you have a barbecue on your boat, he's not going to bring anything except takeout.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you
so
make for
what?
dinner? Reservations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
I have no problem with it either, but you get tired of the vegetable. He would never get a vegetable. No, Cody Abilene is the best neighbor.
He's a good neighbor. All right.
DeLorean rides
Yeah.
until it breaks down
Which is 3 miles.
all the
But
time.
he's got like 17 other cars.
Speaking of, next, and this is a group of people, the next two will be actually multiple people.
Uh-huh.
The Buffingtons.
The Buffingtons. I kind of like the Buffingtons.
I bet Miss Buffington makes some really good ribs.
Yeah, they're bad guys. Sure, they're
heels.
Villains.
I don't want to call them.
Yeah,
they're heels.
They're
heels.
They're
Lovable
they
heels.
have ulterior motives in everything that they do. They always want to beat you. They're very competitive. You would always have challenges. If they liked a different football team than you liked, oh my God, could you imagine the battles that you guys would have? But it would all be in fun.
Yes.
It's fun.
And going back to the ribs. Oh, it's a rib contest. Oh no, I lost the rib contest to
Oh,
Mrs.
no.
Buffington again because her
Bummer.
ribs are so goddamn delicious.
Yeah, I also like the Buffingtons.
Good neighbors.
Bad neighbor.
Okay.
What? Explain.
Their son is probably a peeping Tom. He's a little weird. He's probably hanging out in your bushes, looking in.
So he's Samwise Gamgee? Because that was your Samwise Gamgee argument.
No, this guy's just a pervert.
What if he's got a equally mentally deficient girlfriend?
Yeah, that makes it worse. Sorry, but it does, because then they're having sex in the bushes by your house.
Which is not as fun to watch as Cody Abilene having sex.
She does
That's
have
right.
a point,
Oh.
though, because I believe Mr. and Mrs. Buffington would also have sex in your bushes. Like, them having sex in your bushes for the whole family is just something you kind of got to deal with.
So, no, bad neighbors.
Boundaries don't really describe the Buffingtons.
I think they would be good neighbors.
Yeah, I'm still going to give them a pass. I like them.
They'd be interesting, but good.
Yeah, exciting life you live.
No.
All right. Sam, last but not least.
The two chicks from the other boat.
Ew.
Bad neighbors.
Oh, yeah. They don't know how to do anything.
No.
They don't know how to
Except-
do anything. They break into your house. They
Yeah.
use up all your shit. They probably use up all your shampoo and then be like, you go in the next morning, take a shower, and you're like, what the fuck? And all your soap's gone. Your razors are dull.
Yeah,
Your
I
soap-
sense
Your
heavy
soap
razor
is gone.
use.
And then, you go make a pot of coffee and it's all gone too.
Or
Because
it's just all over the counter. Like, your pot of coffee is still there. It's just grounds have gone everywhere.
So you're like trying to scrape up the grounds just so you can get one. You're so desperate that you're like, oh my God,
But
just
then there's
one
like
cup.
some chicken nuggets mixed into the grounds because they tried to make coffee and chicken nuggets at the same
Yeah.
time.
There's
And-
actually there's chicken nuggets and a cheese sandwich in the back of the coffee maker.
and the boat's on fire.
And there's coffee grounds just sort of spread all over the oven.
That's best case scenario.
Best
is if you're
case.
out of your razor's dull and you're out of chicken nuggets and coffee. Worst case scenario, you're exploded.
Even if you're Cody Abilene, they're not really great neighbors because you just don't have time to have sex with them all the time. Whereas if you're me, they're even worse neighbors because they're like, can we use your shower? Like, yes, you can. And I'm going to help you. And they're like, no, you're not. You're not Cody Abilene. You're just some portly Italian dude. We're actually just going to use your shower and then leave. And leave your shower in a state of disrepair. And you'll be like, wow, where'd all this hair come from? You didn't look that hairy. I'm hairy.
Yeah, I'm going to triple stamp that shit. They're bad neighbors.
Bad
Bad
neighbors.
neighbors.
Look good on film, not good in real life.
Nope.
Yeah. Sam, tell us about the hard ticket to Hawaii.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii was made in 1987. Directed by the man, not the myth, because he is not a myth, he is a legend, Andy Sidaris.
I didn't know there was a myth about him.
Well, you always say, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh.
I'm saying, not a myth. The man, the legend, that's it.
The man, the Wikipedia article, the legend.
The legend.
There you go.
Well, the man, the Wikipedia article, which is not long enough. It should be the longest. All of the Emmys. Monday Night Football to this day, taking his cues. Andy Sidaris, the legend. If you listen to the .5 episode of Malibu Express, you would know of his many great accolades. If you didn't, you should go do that. And you should also go to andysidaris.com. Hard Ticket to Hawaii was the introduction to two Sidaris mainstays in Donna Spear and Cynthia Brimhall. Both were former Playmoids.
Playmoy.
Playmoids. Playmoids. Cannonball and aim. Both were former Playmoid. Both were former Playmates in Playboy prior to taking their respective roles in the Malibu Films series. In an interview I conducted with producer of this and the subsequent Malibu films, Arlene Sidaris, it was revealed that beyond any other reason, to which I am sure there are multiples, they were retained for their fit in the roles they were chosen. Donna would star in this film through Fit to Kill. Brimhall would appear in all but Savage Beach through, again, Fit to Kill. Another Playmate, Hope Marie Carlson, would star alongside Spear as her trusty partner. Though this,
Trusty or busty?
well, she's actually, she's the small perky one. She doesn't have huge boobs. The next two films, concluding with Savage Beach, she would star in. According to Arlene Sidaris, there was some issues with Carlson continuing as her agent convinced her she was meant for bigger things. History would prove that
Bigger
agent...
boobs. As you just said. Yeah.
Mirror.
I got the look.
Yeah, that I don't know. She grew boobs. She was already in her 20s when this happened.
She got some of that blissant.
That doesn't work.
The boob cream, and it makes your blouse get bigger.
All that does is get you broken up with your girlfriend. You try rubbing that.
Because you bought her blissant.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Valentine's Day. Here's some blissant. I was thinking of you.
And you realize it's a pill and not a topical cream. So you take all the pills and you mash them up, and you're like, I'm going to use some lotion on your boobs. And you're like, this is scratchy. What are you doing? I'm like,
You know
nothing.
a lot more about blissant than I do.
I'm making stuff up.
I think it's a topical cream.
Is it?
How could you even think about that?
I don't know. It's just because they're boobs. That's just where brains go when you are a man.
See, when you're a lady like me, you're like, dude, my boobs are triple D, and I really don't want them to be any bigger, or I will fall down.
You are, you're not every woman now, are
Well,
you?
okay, let's just stop for a
I'm a
second.
busty LaRue.
I thought the whole thing where Blue Scent came off the market is it basically puts you in a state of perpetual period swell.
Uh-huh.
Ew,
Not cool.
ow.
Yeah. Bad news.
Did it make the boobs bigger or not? Job one. Done.
Okay. Well.
Side effects? Well, did it do its job? Yeah.
Yeah, but then no boys get to touch him.
Oh, yeah, because they're
Okay.
owie.
Oh, good.
There's no running on the beach at the Baywatch when you are using blousant.
Oh,
Blouse
no.
ant. History would prove the agent wrong. I do have a soft spot for Carlson, though. Check that. I have a very hard spot for Carlson.
Wah,
And-
wah.
Oh, okay, so
And the hard ticket she takes in this film is as well as the next two in the series.
So you can tell shitty jokes, but I can't.
I
Get
wrote
the eye.
this shitty joke down. I gotta try to get through some of the shit that I wrote down. Ned Niederlander said it best about himself through the voice of another woman from his past in his own words when he said, "Young man, you have got it."
Mm.
Whatever it is, she had it too. In Defense of History versus her agent, when you search for Donna Spear or Cynthia Brimhall, there is no shortage of links or information, many leading to Malibu films or the many films that they starred in. When you Google Hope Marie Carlson, you can find a lot of stuff that doesn't have anything to do with her, and the fifth link down is a list of 1985 Playmates because she is on that list. Despite her lack of internet presence, she maintains acting credits to the tune of 24 on IMDb.
That's not bad.
I think most of them are girl in corner, lady at table.
Yeah.
Bigger things.
Yeah.
Not bigger things.
Wow, that's more than what I have.
That's more than Denise Crosby's got.
Denise Crosby got eaten by a tar monster.
Yeah.
That's tough on your career. But not as tough as the boss. Arlene Sidaris produced this film. She revealed they were unable to secure funding for the project initially and used their house as collateral. She stated that situation as being the reason for her assuming the role as producer. As if her house was on the line, she was the one signing the checks.
Hell fucking yeah.
Hell fucking yeah. She did tell me that Andy could sign the checks, but he didn't. As it turns out, someone in the Sidaris household won the sports Emmys while someone else wore the pants.
Bum, 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 bum.
You know, that's just the way that it is, though.
Yeah.
The ladies make the man.
Well, in her words, there was a good cop and a bad cop. Can you guess which one was the bad cop?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Arlene.
Yeah.
Is that right? Am I right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you had to overtly disclaim that.
Disclaim that, yeah.
Well, I just had to make sure.
Pretty obvious.
Because I could see her putting the hammer down.
Well, apparently, every once in a while, somebody would ask for a fast and loose weekend in Vegas if they were shooting in California. And Andy would be like, oh, I suppose so. She's like, no, you can't go to Vegas. We're shooting a film. Come on now. Ron Ross receives top billing. He will not reprise his role.
Oh, no.
He was a Rowdy Abilene.
Ron!
Rowdy Abilene. Yeah. This film marks the point where women assume full lead in the series. In the first film, Malibu Express, Hinton's Coby Abilene is the primary focus, though the female characters are more capable in every respect and skill than he tries to possess.
Definitely.
Though Moss receives top billing, he will not reappear in subsequent films, and Spear is the star, and she will receive top billing in subsequent films.
Yes.
You know, Abilene was just the meat. He's like the Twinkie that you put on for the fat kid to run after.
And when I was talking to Arlene, she had said that, the women were the focus, and she actually will, when you listen to the interview, talk about how they actually had to buy Malibu Express out from Playboy because the Playmates are supposed to just be, pretty pictures that you touch, not women with guns that are strong.
Right, absolutely.
Which is more reasons I don't like Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, no, that's kind of shitty. That's kind of shitty. Good for Andy and Arlene, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what you got?
That's what I got.
That's what you got.
Well, you got to watch the rest of it and listen to the interview.
Yeah.
You want to watch this movie, listen to the interview? There you go.
Well, you can get the movie, not on Netflix, not on YouTube, sorry to say, but you can get it quite cheap because it comes in a 12-pack with 11 other films on AndySidaris.com for, I think, a pretty solid price of about $10 on DVD. It's a pretty good deal. We've got it. Sam's got it. Most bad movie fans have this collection, so go ahead and watch Hard Ticket to Hawaii with us. Come on back. We'll have the interview with Sam and Arlene next, and we'll see you next Monday when we get to the chopper filled with busty chicks. And skateboard assassins.
Skateboard. We'll talk about the skateboard assassin. Yeah, I wanted to save that for the podcast.
Oh, spoiler alert. We'd now like to present a very special interview between Sam and Arlene Sidaris. Arlene is the producer of Hard Ticket to Hawaii, as well as Picasso Trigger, Savage Beach, Guns, Do or Die, Hard Hunted, Fit to Kill, Enemy Gold, The Dallas Connection, Day of the Warrior, and Lethal Ladies, Return to Savage Beach. The director of those films, Andy Sidaris, was Arlene's husband until his death in 2007. We must apologize for the audio quality, but the interview is well worth the listen. Please enjoy.
I heard one of the other interviews that said that you had originally, the whole Nancy Drew mysteries and the Hardy Boys came about because you guys were looking for better insurance, mostly.
No, I was fine, but my partner, Joyce Brotman, was a single woman, and she did not have health insurance. And so and we were each working as kind of assistant to the producers in live television shows. And looking back, we really were operating more like producers, but we just didn't know it. And that was a long time ago. There was a whole other world of women being treated differently.
And at the same time, it's a little bit like the TV show Bosom Buddies, where you're just like, they were just trying to get cheap rent.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So we started to contact the script supervisors in film because they were a union and they had health insurance. But we were sitting at my breakfast table and looked over at my stack of books, and there was the Nancy Drew cookbook, and I bought a couple of them to give away for Christmas or something. And that's how the voyage started. They said, oh, whatever happened to that? Nancy Drew wasn't available. Hardy Boys was. We got Hardy Boys. ABC wanted both because they wanted to put us on so quickly that they had to alternate. There wasn't enough time to do each segment. So we had to go to New York and meet Mrs. Adams, who was the daughter of Edward Stratemeyer, and she liked us. And we got the license to do both series. And we were on the air. That was probably we went to Universal. The first day we were at Universal was in September. We were on the air in January. It was amazing.
And that was for Glenn Larson. Glenn A. Larson was the.
Yes, Glenn was our executive producer. That was after the first executive producer. This is a little delicate. I won't use any names.
Yeah.
He's deceased. May he rest in peace. But he had been a CBS executive, and executives who buy shows, when they retire from the network, often get studio jobs, and that's what he had. So we would have these creative meetings, and whatever we contributed, he basically took and presented it to the network as his own. And when the network didn't like the direction of the development, he was fired. But it was a lot of our stuff, so we got to stay. And then Glenn Larson came on, and Glenn was fantastic. So that was an interesting event, a turn of events.
How many episodes did you guys do before Glenn took over?
Oh, we hadn't done any. We were in development, and that's why the studio the network didn't like the way it was being developed. They didn't know that it was our creative input that was in the wrong direction. They thought it was this other guy because he put everything under his name. So he got fired, and we got to stay.
And then you, as I'm understanding it, the rumor is that you actually borrowed Glenn A. Larson's yacht for Hard Ticket to Hawaii, one of the sequences?
Oh, yes. He gave it to us to use.
And so you developed a pretty decent relationship with him on Nancy Drew Hardy Boys then.
He was very nice. He was good to us. We were both from live TV, and this was film. I'm telling you, I used to drive to the studio every day saying, please God, don't let them find out today. Every day I thought I was going to get fired. Because it was like going to the Tisch Film School for free. And getting paid for it. It was an education. Working for Glenn was fantastic. He was wonderful to us.
How did that come about that you ended up using the boat for this movie?
Oh, so we needed a boat. I knew Glenn had a boat. I asked him about it. He said, absolutely. He gave us the boat. And we shot, we only used it one day. Mm-hmm. He had hired Andy to direct the Solid Gold Kicker for Nancy Drew. So, which I was the producer and Andy was the director. Uh-huh. And that was the first time Andy and I had worked together, and it was not my idea, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It was Glenn's idea, and we almost killed each other, Andy and I. And that was the first film that we did together. We really, it was very difficult.
And what year was that?
The first film, we really got along because we didn't realize how competitive we were with each other. I would say, I think that, and Andy would say, you can stop right there. It was a little controlling. So anyway, we argued a lot on the first film that we did together, but throughout the entire process, we really realized that we could trust each other. In fact, we could trust each other more than we could trust anybody else, and that we were on the same side, and that we each did have a talent to contribute. So after that, we got along very well.
And this Hard Ticket is then the subsequent time that you worked together afterwards?
Yes, yeah.
How long was it in between?
Oh, let me think. It was a while. Let me see. The Hardy Boys Nancy Drew, that ended around 1980. Then I went to work at MGM for the famous Julia Phillips. I was her television department. And then after that, I did a movie for television. That was 82, I guess. And then right after that, we went into business together. Yeah. We went into business together, actually, because Andy was going to do Hard Ticket to Hawaii, and everything was set up. I was not really involved with it, but he had pre-licensed with enough foreign licenses to cover what he budgeted as the negative cost. But the bank at one point said that's not good enough. We need collateral. And the only collateral that we really had or that Andy had, was our home. And so he wanted to put the house up as collateral. And I said, if you're going to put our house up as collateral, I'm going to be writing the checks. And so I'm not going to give that to somebody else. So that's how we went into business together.
Okay.
It's kind of a backdoor.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was.
So,
and we did kind of duke it out during the first film. But after that, we really grew to have a very compatible and successful relationship. And the films all really, they were self-financed. They all made money. So we did well.
Yeah, that's good. There was a 2-year pause in between Malibu Express and this, as I understand. So
I didn't produce Malibu Express.
I know, but once this went, it seems like you guys were able to do one every year.
Yes. Because we did the first two. In fact, we did, at the end we were doing, the plan was to do, one every 9 months. But that was after about 10 of them.
Okay.
So between Malibu Express was a whole other story because Andy, was in business with Playboy for Malibu Express. But and they each owned, there was like a 50-50 relationship. And when he was finished with the film, Hefner really didn't like it because he didn't like the women as action, characters.
Oh.
And if you see, the Playboy centerfold, videos, they're very glamorous and very sexy. And he liked his women kind of on a pedestal. And this was not Andy's vision. So they very amicably, Andy bought him out, and that went on to be the mother of the Andy Sidaris collection. But then he was going to do. He made a deal for 2 films with Lorimar Studios. And that was when he was, basically getting pre-sales or pre-licenses to cover the negative. And that was when the bank said, that's not enough for us. And so they asked him to come up with collateral. The only collateral was the home. And that's when I said, I'm not writing that over for somebody else to write the checks.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Once you guys started, beyond handling all of the finances, once you guys started filming, were you like the chief wrangler, or what exactly what was your role once production had started?
Well, the good guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
Which one do you think I was?
I'm guessing that you were the bad one.
I did all the budgeting. I did the scheduling. And so we worked very closely together in terms of getting the schedule, the script to work in an economical schedule. So there was a lot of collaboration on that end. And then on a daily basis, I was the producer. I was the line producer. And when I say the bad guy, because, sometimes the girls or anybody would go up to Andy and say, can I go to Vegas for the weekend and come back, and I hope I'll be back in time. And Andy would say, yeah, and then I would say, no.
Yeah.
So finally he would say, you have to ask Arlene. So I was the bad guy, but
that was where I was kind of going with it. I've done some zero budget productions. I went to, I have a graduate certificate in filmmaking, and, sometimes it's like herding cats.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And my mother was the location accountant. So that was another thing. And, my mother, who I, of course, trusted with my life. I mean, who would you rather have, watching your back than your mother? Except that there was only one, I was the only person who could sign a check. Andy could, but he didn't.
Yeah.
There was never any reason for him to. So, but she handled all the per diems, and then that got to be a little cumbersome. So we wound up we ran it like people going to camp. Everybody had meals together. Nobody had a car. If there was an extra car needed, we controlled that. So everybody stayed together. We had very short production schedules. You know, they were at most 25 days, and we traveled. So it was a challenge to keep everybody, you know, at the right place at the right time. But it worked, and it got to be, you know, kind of like a little family. Everybody had a good time. We made sure that people had a place to go to work out. That was always very important. So, you know, it worked. We got it done.
This is the first appearance of Donna Spear and also Cynthia Brimhall, who show up throughout the series. I don't know that Cynthia Brimhall isn't in Savage Beach, but other than that, the two of them are all the way up to Fit to Kill, I believe.
Yes,
and
that's right.
Was that just sort of like you all became fast friends? It would seem. I'm curious as to like why they just became mainstays right then and there.
Oh, because they fit the role. I mean, Donna and Hope Marie Carlton were the first two leads. They were partners.
Yes.
And then that got to be difficult. Hope Marie had a new agent, and he convinced her that she was going to be a star. She was going to be on Baywatch. She was going to do this and do that and the other thing. And she basically said, I'll do this film, but I won't do any nudity. And I said, I'm rescinding the offer. Period. That was it.
Yeah.
So, and then we got Roberta Vasquez, who was terrific. Wonderful to work with. Roberta Vasquez was actually one of our first choices, but she got pregnant.
Oh.
So she had to bow out. And then we hired Hope Marie, and then we replaced Hope Marie with Roberta.
When, now, Hard Ticket, I've heard rumors that Savage Beach was actually shot at the same time or before Picasso Trigger. Is there any truth to that?
No.
Okay, so they were done in order?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They almost feel sort of like a mini trilogy inside the series to me. Other than the Hope Marie Carlton, does it feel like that to you other than just her being on screen? Is there any other sort of like kind of thematic feeling there?
Yeah, I mean, it was this partnership of two undercover federal agents who ran this airline. That was the theme.
Yeah.
And then what we did was, after there were 8 films in the package, we went totally non-union. Before that, Andy was with the Directors Guild, but then he was able to opt out, and so we did everything totally non-union because, frankly, the union didn't help us ever.
I wouldn't imagine.
No, not ever. In fact, there was one. Where is it? It was Do or Die, I think, where it looks like they're in Louisiana and they're having lunch and they're being stalked by the bad guys, and there's a cat that eats something from their table, and the cat dies.
Mm.
So then they know that they have to get out of there. Well, the cat was given a dose of something, not harmful at all. I mean, we didn't kill a cat.
Yeah.
But there was one, the makeup artist and one of the actors turned us into SAG because they thought that we were harming the animals. These are the people that wouldn't eat pizza because the pizza guy was pro-life. Yes, I know. It gets. There are some amusing anecdotes from this. Anyway, we didn't hurt the cat.
Yeah.
And we didn't hire the actor or the makeup artist again. But then we went totally non-union because Andy was able to get out of the Directors Guild, and we didn't need to be. All the actors could take a different position in the union. They didn't have to opt out of the union, but they could work non-union. So that's what we did.
Oh, that's good. Getting back to Hard Ticket specifically, the skateboard assassin, was that something that was like you had it, so you used it, you knew a guy, so you wrote it in, or?
Andy knew this guy and he wrote it in. That's how he got a lot of his ideas, because he had come from the sports world. You know about his background as a
Yes.
multi Emmy award-winning director for ABC Sports. So yes, he would come up with. That's why a number of the actors were from the competitive sports. Bruce Penhall was a motorcyclist. There were karate people. Yeah, so there was a lot of that. That was story lines that were inspired by the ability of sports people, competitors. We had one woman who was a champion bodybuilder in I think was it Picasso Trigger?
I can't think of it specifically.
Yeah.
I have to, with the 12 of them as it is,
I have the same problem.
it's difficult sometimes to remember which one is from which. For whatever reason, I can kind of separate some of it in Malibu Express a little bit more just because of the Darby Hinton thing, but did you ever it seems that I've read that he didn't have the best time post Malibu Express. Did you guys approach him to come back as Coby Abilene or not even bother with it?
Oh, no, it wasn't a matter of not even bothering with it at all. I mean, there was, we had liked him. He worked well for us. And as I said, I didn't produce the film, but no, we remained good friends with Coby. We just the women were the continuing characters.
Yes. Another thing that was on the front end of the series, which I think my favorite version is in The Hard Ticket to Hawaii, is the credit sequence with the crates.
Yes.
That's my favorite of the credit sequences. I like all of them on the front end. I was curious was it a budgetary thing as to why you guys...
Sure. That was Andy's idea. I thought it was really brilliant.
Well, I was wondering why you got away from doing that on
Absolutely, everything we did was because of budget.
Yeah.
But out of that, I thought that was great, and a lot of people have really responded to that as just being unique. So.
Was it easier to use a title machine though, and in the subsequent films, because it was like you guys got away from that a little bit?
Oh yeah, we didn't do that, but we did other things that were very, very economical. Because title sequences can be very expensive. So we always were inventive to not to watch the expense. So if you notice, I mean, we never used superimposing titles like the expensive people do.
Yes.
Yeah, we never did that.
So producing, especially, you were with the Nancy Drew, that was in the 70s, and this was well into the 80s, and women sort of started to kind of come in as producers, but I don't know, do you know anybody else besides yourself that's a female that had been involved in more racy pictures?
No. As a matter of fact, I have a number of stories when we were on the Universal lot for Nancy Drew. I mean, the first day that I drove in, the guy at the gate, Scotty was his name, I drove up and he said, I gave him my name and he said, oh no, the secretary's parked in lot E. And I said, I'm not a secretary, I'm a producer.
Yeah.
He looked at me like I was crazy, and he called, and he really did have that kind of surprised look on his face. And he said, raised the gate and directed me to where I should go. And then, we were just an oddity, the two of us. And we were, two cute young girls, but what were we doing calling ourselves producer? And I can't tell you how many people would say, you're the producer? How did you get to be the producer? And one day I was something and there was a director, and I said, oh, this is so frustrating to have people ask me that question. And he said, settle down. You don't realize they're just curious. They really admire you. They want to know how that happened. So I changed my attitude. But yeah, no, there were a number of incidents of people kind of being dismissive or rude or even, abusive in a sense. The first film that we did in Hawaii, which was Hard Ticket to Hawaii, we were on Molokai, and I was my first independent producing job. And I said, Andy, we think we should go to get permits. He said, no, don't be silly. We're on Molokai. Nobody knows we're here. The first day of shooting at 7 a.m. on the door. And there were 3 people, one from two union guys and a lawyer. And they came in to sit down to talk to us to find out why we didn't let them know in advance. And they were talking directly to Andy. And now I had 2 lawyers. Well, I had one lawyer. My personal lawyer happened to be there because he was going to be an extra on the film. And a lifelong friend of mine who built nightclubs in New York City, non-union. He's the brother I never had. So these people are asking Andy questions, and he's getting very flustered. Plus, he had called, we had a shooting day, so he wanted to leave. And I said, excuse me, I'm not just sitting here I'm the producer. And they absolutely never looked at me again. But my 2 friends came in to get us out of this mess. And the friend of mine who built the non-union clubs in New York City got us, did the foundation for a relationship with those people that was just wonderful. We wound up working something out very fair. We had to hire a couple of union people, turned out to be great assets to the production. And we did, we then worked in Hawaii every film. At least a portion of every single film because of that, just the way that worked out. So, yes, about other women producers, no, I don't think so. I didn't know any.
Yeah, and especially what I was saying, like, subsequently you get into a racier film, and I think they were called hard R at the time, that it seems like they evolved how you describe a film with as much nudity in it, and that's especially male dominated.
Oh, sure, yeah. But, here's the thing. They are MPAA R-rated films.
Mm-hmm.
They were in, now they're in Target, they're in Walmart.
Absolutely.
They were in, Blockbuster. There was a section, there was a Sidaris collection section, and that was the family, video, company. So, the people, when I was producing Hardy Boys Nancy Drew, I don't think a week went by where somebody would say, couldn't you make it a little sexier? Or, can you use guns or things like that? And we'd say, no, we can't. That was the arrangement, that was the agreement with Mrs. Adams. And those are the people that would say, oh, you do those movies. So, I don't know what to tell you. And now those movies are so mild compared to what you see everywhere, on television, on cable, on everything, everywhere.
Yeah.
There's no graphic sex.
No, there isn't. And I was reading something that was an article of the time. I think it may have been, I can't remember what publication it was from, but it basically called it pornography. And my question was like, have you seen pornography? Because it would be like, no, these are, but I think also at the time, in 1985, maybe somebody would be extraordinarily shocked possibly by any nudity, perhaps.
Yeah, they were shocked at Playboy, and Playboy was even more graphic than we, even though they did, their videos were lovely. There wasn't any lascivious sex. There was nudity, beautiful, and we only did from the waist up. We didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Those people are just, I don't know, narrow-minded, or they like to categorize people. They like to think that they know something. I don't know what they think, but they're wrong.
Yeah. My main argument against that is that how driven by the writing these films are, and that they are good stories, and they're genuinely just really funny. Like, the jokes are always funny, and the action is good, but there is a story from beginning to end in all of them, and that's where some of the substandard pictures that you get that are meant for just basically showcasing nudity, they don't have that.
No. No, they showcase nudity or violence, and we don't, there's no graphic violence, there's no graphic nudity, there's no profanity. So, if it wasn't for the nudity, we would be G-rated.
Yeah. Well, I have one more question before we go. Why Abilene?
Oh, I don't know. You have to ask Andy.
Okay, there's no idea. It just sounded nice. Like when I make character names, I do that. It's like, well, it just sounded nice.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Yeah, he had a really, really funny sense of humor. Daily. The way he went through life was to try to make people feel good. He'd be ordering pizza and try to make that the person smile. That was just how he was. Do you know the movie Cinema Paradisimo?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It's an Italian movie, and it's about a little boy who loves movies from the time he's a little boy, and he would sit in with the projectionist and watch movies, and then he grew up to be a director and that. And Andy would say, "I was that little boy," because he was growing up in Shreveport, Louisiana, but his father had passed away, and his mother sent him up to Kansas City for a couple of weeks in the summertime to visit his uncle. And his uncle owned movie theaters. And his uncle would go on Monday or Tuesday to collect the tape. And Andy would go with him, and Andy would sit in with the projectionist and watch the films. So that was how he began his appreciation for films. And they were all, those films, the neighborhoods happened to be black neighborhoods, and they were black action, like cowboy movies and action movies. So that was his introduction to film.
Huh.
Yeah. And when he went to college, he was majoring in geology, but he needed to earn money to get through school, and he got a job at WFAA, the local television station, basically, sweeping up and cleaning up and all that. And then he worked his way up, into directing at WFAA, and then he was recommended by the head of the station about this job in New York with ABC Sports. So that was that.
Yeah.
All right, yep.
I guess I have one more question for you specifically. Did you have a favorite moment in any of the producing of these films?
A favorite moment? I don't know. There were so many memorable moments. I'm trying to think. There was one. There were things about, like, continuity was a big thing. And in Hard Ticket to Hawaii, my friend Maurice, who's like the brother that I never had, his wife, and he came to Molokai. They were going to be, then they were each in the film as extras. They appear. But she had a beautiful pair of earrings, and Cynthia wore those earrings one evening in the film. And then Vivian went home, and we were doing another portion of that scene, and Fiona, who was our wardrobe designer, had to take aluminum foil and pebbles to make it look like those earrings were on Cynthia. So that was stuff like that we were had to improvise. That was very funny. Another time there was a shirt that one of the guys wore, and we blew it up. We blew, it was an explosion scene. But then we needed to film the scene before that, but they didn't have a second shirt. So we had to get a white shirt and paint on it. And while we were doing that scene, it started to rain, and the paint started to drip. It was stuff like that I remember.
Well, this has been a great talk, and I really appreciate you doing the interview.
My pleasure. I love to talk about myself.
There you go. Well, I do
my
too.
favorite things.
Yeah.
And to talk about Andy, because those years were just really fun times. We did so much together. We really accomplished so much together that it's fun to talk about it. So anytime.
Stinker Madness would like to thank Arlene for all her support. We recommend that you visit andysidaris.com, where you can buy movies, books, posters, and t-shirts celebrating the films of Andy and Arlene.